Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to Second Sunday, also Super Bowl Sunday. What an honor that I get to actually go live on this day for, I don't know, the United States to go absolutely crazy for football. Well, I happen to be living in Kansas City where our Chiefs are playing, and I love the energy of of what sports do to a collective society that are involved that get to like vicariously live through the 1% athletes of the world. Although I'm not a huge football buff, I definitely always look for the positive in any aspect of our collective that we live in as an opportunity for us to hold on to those moments that truly make us feel alive and make us feel involved and make us interact with our environment in a positive way. Maybe you're not a Chiefs fan. Maybe you don't like football at all, but it's all a metaphor. It's all a metaphor for looking at the positive aspects of what is going on in our collective. And that truly brings me to our focus for today, Second Sunday. I'm going to get quite intense this year. And I think that your life is probably mimicking the style of teachings that I will be giving you from here on out. As some of you guys know, I've been teaching professionally for about 12 years, and I focus on helping you accelerate your consciousness and help you biohack what is in the way or no longer serving you to get to that North Star or that heart's desire where you are the version of yourself that can fully demonstrate that and embody that. That is the whole name of the game here in virtual reality of Earth. And as some of you guys can feel, and some of you guys know, and some of you guys can see, and some of you guys can hear, and some of you guys can observe that the world that you live in doesn't feel anything like the world you lived in this time last year. It feels unsettled, unearthed. It feels unstable. It feels completely different. And some of you will show up worried about that, fearful about that, excited about that, curious about that. And really, regardless of where you are focused in your mind, the most important thing that you will do this year is focus on your heart's desire. Now, the more overwhelmed you become, the more scared you become, the more worried you become, the more uncertain you become, the less your mind allows you to to even to even care what a heart's desire is, right? And a lot of you are getting back into your manifesting rituals. A lot of you are getting back to rituals just overall, moon cycle rituals, because you're realizing that this is an action year. This is a year that is all about taking action. But it isn't about going out there in the physical world and trying to, find your success. This is not the year where you go out into the world and look for your people. This is not the year where you go and try to fix whatever injustice you're perceiving. This is the year where all of your action is about going undercover. It is about going within. It is about making peace. It is about letting go. It is about forgiveness. It is about expansion. It is about growing. And you're probably with your spirit team, whether it's your higher self or angels or whatever you perceive, are helping and assisting you turn back in, turn back in, turn back in. Some of you will go through horrible rejection and abandonment this year because you're looking in the wrong place for your support and your answers. It's always been here. And I've been teaching for years that you have three brains. You have this brain that is a receiver and a perceiver. Okay, you have this brain, which is your central intelligence of your telepathic nature of unity, which means right here, this touch screen, okay, with the thymus is literally how you are going to connect with every other soul. It is not about what do I need to do, who do I need to call, who do I need to reach out to? When you get fully into your heart center, this is your telepathic space, and what you seek is seeking you. All right. Your third brain is your gut. This is your house of ancient knowledge. This is the house of the nature itself. This is the root. This is where all of your beginnings and endings are. This is where your density resides, your unfinished business, your heart's desire, your dreams, your goals, your ambitions, your pains, your traumas, your misfortunes, your unfinished, unrequited love, right? It's all right here. Well, underneath all of that is 70% of your intuition. It's also the house of your serotonin, the hormone that happens to make you feel safe, right? The happy love hormones that are produced from your heart center is all about the ooey gooey oxytocin. It is all about that connection and that feeling of true understanding, being seen, being heard, being noticed, being appreciated. And then up here, which most of you guys tend to lead from when you are scared, worried, or uncertain, is just your house of memories. So when I decided what, this month's topic was going to be, it's really all about understanding that you're getting back into your manifesting rituals, which I highly appreciate. It's about time. But when you are manifesting from your mind desires, your head desires, okay, how am I going to do this? How is this going to work out? How? When? That's two questions that you're going to be asking if you're desiring from the mind. All right, and that's also where you're going to get stuck. If you don't have the how or the when, you're in the mind, right? The heart doesn't care. The heart doesn't care when, and it doesn't care how. It just wants what it wants. It is what it is. It wants to embody and demonstrate all that the desire is the desire to demonstrate what they are, right? So when you get into the how and the when, you are slowing your vibration down. It's probably one of the ways to slow your vibration down the fastest is to question the how and the when. All right. Now that feels very irresponsible if you're not constantly, I'm like in this weird light, constantly, being responsible for your reality. And you were never supposed to be responsible for your reality. You were supposed to create it. But if you were separated from these three access points with yourself, then you are not in unity, which means that probably all three of the versions, me, myself, and I, mind, body, soul, brain, heart, gut, are not on the same page. And if they're not on the same page, what you're going to be looking for is someone else to be on your page. Please, someone else be on my page. Are you on my page? Will you support me? And when they don't show up for you, or they abandon you, or reject you, or deny you, or judge you, or whatever you want to say, it immediately makes you pull back inside of yourself. And that's the very point, right? When you get judged, when you get, dissatisfied, disappointed, expectations not met out there, it is always, negatives are always shortcuts to get back in. Well, so-and-so won't listen to me, so I will listen to myself. And your higher self's like, yay, right? So you're going to get abandoned and rejected this year if you are not working adamantly 24 hours a day on this relationship with self. All right. Your higher self will provide all of the tough love required for you to get back home. Because you are in a splitting universe right now. Earth is going through major contractions, and she is not getting ready for the fifth dimension. She's getting ready for the sixth dimension. And so the separation between third dimension and sixth dimension is going to be quite large, right? We are going to go through a major depopulation scenario in the next 2 years. Okay, that will reach a peak March of this year. March 23rd of this year is going to be a peak point in a vortex of a frequency, a porthole that is going to create the biggest shift that we have ever experienced on this planet collectively through the holographic experience of what we agree on, right? Now, that is the magic here. You're going, okay, yes, I know I'm supposed to get home, self-love, blah, 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 blah. No, it is so much more than that. It is about working with your intuitive system. It is about turning yourself on. It is about upgrading your own system. It is about actually listening to the downloads that are coming 24 hours a day, paying attention to the synchronicities that are beckoning you towards your North Star. And what is your North Star? Right here, your heart. This is what you came for. Right? Love wins. Well, 3D love means I will sell myself to the devil. I will give myself away. I will reject and abandon myself for you. I will give you my last 2 cents so I have nothing, in hopes that when my time of need comes, you will be here for me. And you've probably noticed by now that time never comes, because the heart that you have is a very special heart. And this is why you have felt different and alone and separated more than other people who seem to bond like cattle and sheep, and they have these inside jokes that you will never understand. And the whole reason why is because you have a different type of heart. You probably by now know that if you are empathetic to the ones who have hurt you, and you are still kind after all of these years, and you still, are still fighting for humanity in some form or another, you have the Christ at heart. And the Christ at heart is the crystalline heart. It is the reflective transparency of love itself. And no matter how much you get hurt, you usually turn it on yourself and hurt yourself because you don't want to hurt the bugs. You don't want to hurt the people. You may have the visions, you may have the ego fantasies, but following through is usually pretty hard for you. And so now you are probably feeling like you are on ground zero, which you are. Like I told you guys last month, the analogy of the three bridges. First bridge, when you wake up, you're like, this is awesome. Oh, I can't wait to find out who I am and where I'm from and what alien nation I am from, what star seed am I, right? And it's super fun. And then you get into the shadow world when you start to enter the dark shadow with your higher self, and it's terrifying. And then once you finally make it through the dark shadow walk, right now it's you have to prove your new state of being. You have to show up as is. You have to embody this Christ at heart. You have to actually act out that what you desire. And then now it's like all the lights are on you and you're on the stage. A lot of you have stage fright right now. Some of you have been pushed onto the stage right now. And whatever your stage is, it's going to look different for everyone. Some of you, it'll be a podcast. Some of you will be fired from your third dimensional world. Some of you will be outcasted and find yourself in nature where you've always wanted to be and not have a clue of what to do. And you don't need to know how. That is the most precious piece of advice that I can give you for the rest of this year. When you are questioning the how, you are in the mind. And when you are questioning the how, you are separate from your gut. Because you have two sides of your brain that you have always had. And until you were 7 years old, they worked in unity. They breathed together, they lived together, they created together, they desired together, they walked together, and they got to know each other through basically embodying curiosity, observing, practicing, preparing, playing. That is how your brain was in unity. And when your brain was in unity, your gut was in unity and your heart was in unity. And then the world started to separate you. Don't do that. Don't feel that. Don't say that. That looks ridiculous, right? And so by default, you created a little buffer between the two sides of your brain. And now there is a space that creates separation. Your masculine and your feminine are both at war now. I can't act this out and I'm not allowed to feel that. Well, one side of you is going to get bigger, determining what side of that is safely received in your family or school dynamic. Which means if you were rewarded and loved and cared for demonstrating strength, providing, protecting, fixing, you're going to be leading with that masculine. If you have been hurt, if your purity has been taken, if you have been humiliated, rejected, abandoned, then you're going to notice that you're going to be hiding that feminine energy and leading with your masculine, ladies. And men who have been denied their own true masculinity with whatever that looks like are going to be walking around emasculated, with either puffed up control issues and arrogance, success driven, not emotionally connected to the divine feminine whatsoever, or that are going to be too much connected to the divine feminine and they feel stuck in their vision, which they don't feel that they know how to actualize. They are not allowed to actualize, or they do not have what they need to actualize their own desires. So when we get split for 7 years, right, we go on this journey. We think we're going on a journey to find all the things and have all the things that we couldn't have in childhood, to find our partners, to find our purpose in life. But really your purpose, once you leave the dynamic of who created your belief systems inherently, you're actually going on a walk back to reconnect yourself. And everything that has pushed you, pulled you, broke you, kicked you, punched you, bled you, has always been an attempt to get you back home to yourself. You're just at the final gate here. You're at the final purest form of non-duality. This is a free world. This is a free will zone you're in. Earth inhabits all 12 dimensions and houses every single biological representation of spirit in the universe right here in the living library. It is a lot more vast and complex than you could realize. There is a middle earth, there is an inner earth, there is an upper earth, there is an atmospheric earth, and there is all kinds of other things walking around, probably side by side with you, that you aren't seeing because you're focused on the NPC that is just walking around in circles over there, right? So based on your belief system, all right, you will in this moment feel the the kind of calculations of how much choice you have. Although you are in a free will world zone or a free will zone, you might not feel like you have a lot of choice right now. You might feel stuck, blocked, trapped. You might feel like everything's against you. You might sense that things are falling apart. You might be constantly terrified, even when things are feeling okay. You might feel okay, even though things are terrifying. You are probably having the most bipolar experience that you have ever had this year. And this is why I taught alchemy last year, because alchemy means all of me. And there is many, many, many different parts of you that are working to integrate right now, past, present, future. Okay. The past that's stuck in the ghosting of telling the story over and over again of your own childhood, your own past lives, your own unrequited love, heartbreaks, and war. You also have the version of you in this now moment that is desiring from all that you have been, in the contrast of what you are sitting in, desire to be, embody, empower, create, live fully. I mean, you never really want to live until you have a fear of dying, or you never really have a fear of truly becoming until you have a fear of loss. And that's the purpose of contrast. It wasn't supposed to piss you off. It was supposed to help you navigate. So when you are navigating with your mind and you're trying to use law of attraction, good luck. Because when you try to use the law of attraction for a mind desire, and what is a mind desire? It is a survival based desire, right? How am I going to pay my bills? Okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with this person who's angry with me? What are we going to do with this government? What are we going to do with so and so? Okay, those are mind desires. That's survival. That's going to be about running the past. It's going to be fear of the future. There is absolutely no power in it except you being able to use law of attraction, law of resistance to recreate the past. When you are in desire of the past, you're going to create the future out of it. It feels like counterintuitive when I'm saying that, but you are not here to survive. You are here to thrive. And yeah, you've heard suffering is a choice. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it when you don't have the solutions to your problems. It doesn't feel like it when it feels like you are losing everything. It doesn't feel like it when you don't know how you're going to, figure things out tomorrow, right? You don't know how it's going to work out. You don't have the dopamine fixes to lean on anymore because they're no longer satisfying the bigger part of you. You have been, for the last probably 10 years, working to get higher self into that body. Okay. And the more density you let go of, the more trauma you let go of, the more the past you let go of, the more room that the bigger part of you can squeeze in that itty bitty living space and start working to navigate you from your heart's desire. This is why you guys have lost your desire to work. Like, some of you are still working and love it, but if you notice, it is not as much driven by fear anymore. Even though you're terrified, it's almost like we're terrified that we're not afraid, that we're not afraid. You know what I mean? It's like I used to be getting up motivated, terrified by, I've got to take care of my kids. I've got to, I've got to heal the world. I've got so much burden on my shoulders. And now it's like, well, dang, now I'm afraid that I don't care. I mean, it's not that I don't care. It's just that I've done too much work on myself. We have done too much work on ourselves to realize that we're here to rescue. We're here to heal. We're here to save. We're here to inspire. We're here to guide. We're here to mirror. We're here to lead by example. And that is all we can do to provide any sort of assistance to this planet. If we have practiced it a little longer, that makes us a teacher. If we have a passion for it, that makes us a good guide. If we have questions about it, that makes us an excellent student. So when we're looking at where we are right now, it's a sense of urgency that could be disguised even if you are super separated from yourself. It could feel like depression. But there is a sense of urgency because this catwalk you've been on, this tightrope you've been on, this bridge you've been on is separating worlds. It's separating an old world of survival and slavery, okay, and lack of unity, suffering, abuse, sociopathic leadership that has been repeating since the fall of Atlantis. And then there's the bridge, the scary bridge that you learn how to get your sea legs. that you remember yourself. You rewire your brain. You reconnect your Kundalini energy. You realign your chakras so that they are going clockwise instead of counterintuitive like a retrograde. Have you ever thought of the comparison between your chakras and the Milky Way? You know, we are following every planetary alignment, yet we don't pay attention to what direction our own chakras are spinning. Right? They represent each house, they represent each satellite system and a different access point for you to create your own reality. So, your best investment right now is you. And however you can get the stories out of your cells, of your body. Because if you have old stories in your cells, think of it as a jail cell. All right. Think of the trappings of the past, the fear of the future, the lack of worth that your story has provided you that holds you hostage and holds you trapped in a present moment that you are even unable to confront because of what you're looking at. So right now, I want you to pay attention to what you've been desiring the last like 3.5 months. Has it been this mind desire? You know, how and when? How and when? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Well, when you bring your two brain hemispheres back into alignment, right? And there's lots of different biohacking ways to do that. I have about probably 40 different ways to do that if you are in any of my classes right now. And when you bring those two brain hemispheres back together, the masculine and feminine work together. And guess what? The masculine energy is the how. The feminine energy is the what and the why. The masculine energy is the when and the how, right? So it's like your sugar daddy is your own perfect brain. Your brain together that make unity, that create a pineal energy that your start to light up and create your own Wi-Fi, your own connection. Okay, until your two brains are merged back into one, until you turn your masculine on, until your masculine is turned on by your own feminine, you're going to be looking for an outside surrogate. You're going to be looking for an outside solution. You're not going to know how or when. You're not even going to know what. What am I allowed to have? The world's ending. People are dying. Like, I'm scared to be here. Well, you are here to grow out of that world by using it as fertilizer to come back into yourself. And when you come back into yourself and you start to work in unity with yourself, okay, then the how becomes embodied through what's called inspired action. There are 7 stages of spiritual consciousness. There are 7 stages of alchemy. There are 7 stages of manifestation. And inspired action, right, is all about that number 5. 5 number, which is all about change and chaos. Meaning that when that inspired action comes through, if you are up here, it will not make sense. It might actually trigger you. It won't feel intuitive. It will feel like the wrong choice. It will feel scary. When you are connected completely to your own brain, your feminine and masculine are turned on with themselves, the how is effortless. It feels like the logical next move. The money, the support, the people, the places, the events, the circumstances are literally like, boom, right there. The masculine within you, whether you're leading masculine or feminine in a body of whatever you're choosing, okay, you're going to notice that you have a desire. You work to embody and align your vibration back into a North Star, highest desire. It's going to be nonsensical, you guys. It's going to be nonsensical. It's not going to make sense necessarily. Sometimes when things make sense or feel too exciting right now, you're leading from an old pattern in a program. Because excitement means, oh, I know how this works. Oh, I know this song. Oh, I know this person. This person hurt me 4 different ways and with different faces. Okay, so this is not the era where we follow our highest excitement. I would say this is the era where we follow fear into courage, and we do it afraid, and we show up and we demonstrate, even with the fraud complex spinning, right? I just gave this lecture in my non-duality class that you will always feel like a fraud when it's time for you to demonstrate all that you know. And the only reason that you feel like a fraud is because your body doesn't have practice with it. But when you got your driver's license, you did not feel like a fraud, even though you were a licensed driver. Now your job was to figure out how to actually drive. And I teach my students that the best way for them to learn how to drive is to teach. You turn a circuit on by learning, studying, and you wear the other side of the coin in non-duality as the teacher. Then you lead someone through it, and now you know completely how it works, right? Just like you are the ultimate driver if you can teach someone else how to drive. So that is really your job right now, is to learn this body, to reconnect to this body, to heal this body, to let go of what no longer serves you. And it's all going to anchor around the biggest unconscious part of you, which is the subconscious. The subconscious that makes up 95% of your point of reflection. So take a breath. I'm going to give you a minute here. And while I catch my breath, I want you to take stock of your now reality, your time, how much time you got, how much less time you got. What are you doing with your time? How do you feel about time? What's going on with your time? Are you doing what you want in your time, or are you still obligated and committed for everybody else in your time? Move to your health. What does your health look like? Is it helping you embody your heart's desires, or is it holding you back? Is it a source and a nuisance that seems to contaminate and create pepper in your, frosted flakes? Is it, like I said, is it in the way, or is it assisting you? Your own health. Let's go to your relationships. Are they in the way, or are they assisting you? All right? Which ones of them are growing you, and which ones of them are cutting you off at the knees and making you feel unworthy? Let's look at your finances, your abundance, your economy, your freedom. And let's look and see what kind of support and opportunities or flow you have currently that are assisting you in your own becoming. Or is it shut down? Is it locked up? Is it unattainable? Are you able to access it? Okay. So this would literally be about you taking stock of your now reality to find your chronic vibration. Now, what's going on today is your vibration from the past. A few days ago, last month. That's what you're manifesting right now. So this is not an opportunity for you to take score and be like, oh man, I'm still not where I want. And I've done so much work and I've spent so much money and I've meditated so many hours. That's not the time to do that. The time is right now for you to take stock and go, all right, so that was what I was thinking about last month, chronically, and behaving as if and talking about and, focused on. And now I have an opportunity to align my true vibration with that which I choose. Because you're between worlds right now, you're technically, if you are on that new timeline, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you're technically what's in the void. The ego hates the alter part of you that was created from separation, literally despises the void. And I feel like if we are not in the void, then ego has too much control over us, because ego loves knowing, even if it's horrible torture, it loves knowing where it's going to be. This is why we fall in love with our abusers psychologically. At least I know where I'm going to be. I know, at least he's in my life. At least I got a man, right? Or at least I got a woman. Like, it's just ridiculous. But this is how our human experience works when we are disconnected from ourselves. When we are disconnected from ourselves, you guys, we are powerless. We think we're empowered because we know a lot and we can perceive a lot, and we can even maybe, create some magical sparks here and there. But ultimate, consistent, sustainable, free energy that is all your body is not accessible when you are not in alignment and integrated with me, myself, and I. So when it comes down to your subconscious focuses right now, it's all about belief systems. All right. I mean, gosh, Napoleon Hill was talking about this back in the day. The Freemasons are all aware of this, and the powers that be that have been running the earth know that if they can get you to believe, say yes to, agree with, sing the music of, dance the dance of, then by default you have given permission. So unfortunately, you live in a law of very tight rules when it comes to the universe. Law of attraction. What you are is what you get. Okay, what you attract what you are, not what you want. Right? Law of resistance. What you are in resistance of, you are a match to. Okay, law of cause and effect. What you put out is what you get back. Right? What you say yes to, since there is only yes in the universe, is what comes back. Now, there's a fine line in non-duality where yes means no and no means yes. Okay. So if you're saying no, 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 the universe is like, oh, she's saying yes because she's really passionate about this. When you say yes, 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 the universe is like, she's saying yes to this. Okay. And now what is the universe? The universe is you. You are literally a micro of the macro. I even showed you your own Milky Way inside, right? Your central brain, that is the biological computer, your quantum computer, that is a learning algorithm that is constantly taking in data, whether it's right or wrong, it's just taking it in. So when you start to focus undercover, right? I'm calling us detectives in our non duality workshop this year because we are literally playing cold case detective to find where our negative belief systems are still ruling our desires, still ruling our reality, still manufacturing these actors and this playground that I may not want anymore. I want to live a romantic comedy. Why am I still in this horror movie? Well, your first 7 years are dictating that. So your first and foremost job as a human that is here to build a new planet first has to rebuild the self. Okay? Look at it as you're going in and redoing the house how you want it to be. And as soon as you get your foundation solid, then you can work on the aesthetics. Then you can work on the floor plan. But what you have to do is go back in and look who actually created your blueprint, your foundation, your first floor, and unwillingly to you, through the heart desire, you have been chasing that heart desire with your mind. Because every single time you've tried to follow it with your heart, it's either bit you in the butt, you've had a major echo effect, someone has stopped you, trolled you, attacked you, judged you, shut you down, your own body got sick, right? You screwed yourself over by a sabotage because your body was built out of the fibers of the matrix. Vibration slowed all the way down is matter. This is material, right? Manifestation, and a festation of man, right? I manifest my own reality. I am imagination, an army of magicians. It's all about the language. It's all about the language. Okay. Now, the really cool thing, if you're paying attention from the side of love, you're seeing that the dark is literally crying out right now for help, right? What is bad behavior? It's a cry for love. What is toxic behavior? It's a cry for love. And so you may see really horrible things that are going on this planet right now that you're like, I can't believe they're showing us this. I can't believe they're doing this in public. I can't believe they're just like got this going on at the Grammys, right? And I'm going, what do you mean? They're asking for you to see them and say, hey, I can see that you have been lost for a really long time and you've found ways to stay surviving on this planet that might not be in alignment with your true soul, but I see you and I love what is underneath that. And I see that wounded child and I see that broken, separated, energy that is trying to get back to source by any means possible. It's very interesting is when you really study psychology and you start to realize that the way you are triggered and the way that you demonstrate when you are scared, like, if you needed to keep someone away from you, the way you would keep someone away from you is how you were hurt. So, like, let's use this example of, hypothetically, but not hypothetically, let's say that my mom was a very scary, angry woman at times, right? And I was at the brunt of the opposite reflection of that, which means I was the witness, okay? And I was the let's say the victim of that. And I downloaded it as that is the scariest thing I've ever seen. Well, as I get older, if I need to scare someone away from me, if I need to protect myself from, being a 5'1" nothing, loudmouth blonde who gets herself in trouble at times, you can see that the way that I'm going to defend myself automatically, subconsciously, is to reenact the scariest thing possible that I could fathom. Take a breath and hear that. Hear that once again. I am going to be the scariest thing that I could fathom, which means, sorry guys, I have turned into my mother at you, right? And I'm like channeling it like, this is really scary, okay? Because what I use to protect myself is what scared me. I can become that. We're shapeshifters, guys. Depending, it doesn't matter what birth sign you are. Yes, Pisces too, okay? Because you are adaptable, influential beings that are holographic in nature. 80% of you is non-physical. 80. That means 20% of you is walking around the planet thinking that it doesn't really have a lot of power here. And 80% of you is non-physical, which means you have such a power to change these things. Your job is to get in your body and find out where these beliefs are. Break the word down. Belief. Be the lie. Being the lie. Belief. Okay? Anything you don't have right now that you have wanted for a very long time is being guarded by a belief that you can't have it. A belief. Doesn't that sound easy? Right? And you're like, yeah, that sounds really easy. How do I do it, Jess? Well, you cannot change your by beliefs by going in your physical reality and making changes. Okay? You cannot walk up to a movie screen and start rearranging the characters while they're playing out. You have to go back in and find the script, and you have to rewrite that script. Now, you know how to do things in your mind, in your conscious awareness, in your super consciousness that your body has no idea how to do or wants to do because it's never done it. Your body is the primitive part of you. It's the density. Density is slowed down low vibration. Okay? But because your body is 80% non-physical, it can really shift very, very quickly into a higher, enlightened, lightened up version of you and enlightened versions of you. So you have to really pay attention to what you're paying attention to, right? Like I've been saying months and months, become the center of the universe, become the center of the universe. It sounds horribly narcissistic to become this selfish, but you are not selfish. You are self-focused. You will truly be able to lead if you know who you are. You will truly be able to be an example if you are very aware of all parts of yourself and how they work. If you're still constantly asking for advice, or you need a way shower, or you're still feeling like a follower, it is only because you have belief systems that you cannot lead. You only have belief systems that you don't know the way. You only have belief systems that you don't have the how. So my message to you right now, in the beginnings of our little Valentine's representation of love week here, okay, is so much more about self-love. It's like when you really get to know something, that's when you can love it. When you can understand why it has done the thing that it has done, what you have done to survive, how you have always acted with the best intention from where you were, right? And that you were taught to devalue yourself as part of a collective plan. Okay, because this planet doesn't have a lot of room for leadership that is not under some sort of dopamine control of their own existence and future. There is nothing that the other side of this chess game can benefit from you being self-governed and sovereign. So from a very, very, very young age, you were basically indoctrinated into the slavery that every other person was indoctrinated into, even if they had good parents, right? You were rejected and abandoned somehow, and that forced you to reject and abandon yourself. And that is where you are. So the level of bliss, joy, and that's my definition of success is how much how much joy and bliss do you have in the present moment? How long can you stay in the present moment without like getting pulled back into the past? I told my students this yesterday. If you can't hold a pure vision for 168 seconds without peanut gallery going, well, how and when, and that's never going to happen because they're not going to let you, and you're not smart enough, and you don't have enough money. 168 seconds without that voice coming in, you're really close to manifesting that. So I've got 2 little homework assignments for you guys if you are unsure where you are vibrating. Number 1, right? Get a heart's desire. Stay away from, I got to pay my dumb bills, right? Okay. And go into a true heart's desire, right? Right now, my biggest heart's desire is that I am working on manifesting a compound for my basically 10 kids. Okay. And those 10 kids that all have unique skills and very different heart's desires would be perfect to have our own little community that, is all about family, and it's all about growing our own food and blah, blah, blah. And it also works systematically to provide for my other purpose, which is my apothecaries and my quantum fitness biohacking as a place to develop and create with labs on site, blah, 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 blah. So that's my heart's desire. Now, up here, that don't make logical sense. Okay. There's no how and when for that floating around in my mind. So if I go up here to think about this compound, I am going to drop out of my vibration, and the how and the when is going to show up, and the little girl inside of me will move into depression, disappointment, anxiety, frustration, because now, again, for the 47th year, I can't have what I want. Or I can go into my heart and say, this is really who I am. I am an expansive, creative, artistic being that loves space. I love my family. I love being close to my family, but not too close, down the street. I love my children. I love the grandchildren that are coming one day. I love animals, right? I love nature. These are all things that embody the real me. Okay. And in that third dimensional brain mechanism of my belief systems, right? I may not have in this moment the divine masculine way to provide that, but I have my desire, right? And I'm focused on my own lane. And instead of focusing on the how and the when, what I want to focus on is getting my system back in alignment. Because if my heart and my head and my gut all said yes to my compound, the universe would literally pick up a mountain and move it out of the way so I could have what I want. Because in that moment of your triangle, and this is not Illuminati, this is the strongest force in the universe. This is like appreciation and understanding and communication. That's the triangle of me, myself, and I. When your ego is actually playing as your personal assistant to grow you instead of your personal saboteur and critic, when your inner child feels seen, heard, safe, and loved, and when your higher self is in a position to directly communicate to both of those aspects, everybody's on the same page. Doesn't that feel so good? You've had this moment in your family where everybody was on the same page, maybe for 2 seconds, but it felt so good. You see someone walking around that feels good in their skin, same page, mind, body, soul, all in unity. It's flow. Bruce Lee, who's DJing in the back, okay? It's all about flow. It's all about coherence. It's all about integration. And if you would spend as much time trying to fix outside of you, working to align you, you would not ever have to pursue. You would attract. Now, ladies, I just did a video that I knew was going to be risque, but who cares, right? And it says basically that your yoni is your ATM machine and your womb is your universal bank. And guys are like, hey, what about me? Well, guys, you're 40% feminine, so you've got it too, right? And you're going to access it a little bit differently because you're going to require inspiration from the divine feminine first. So, divine feminine, you are desire. You are the essence of desire. Your only job in humanity is to desire, embody, and demonstrate, or inspire. Inspire, 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 inspark, okay? Inspirited. That's what that means. From that, divine masculine will feel the inspiration and become inspired. From his inspired, he will get a download. Oh, yeah, this is how we do this. Your masculine within you or your partner needs to know and want what you want just as much as you want it for him to be able to figure out the genius of it. Because men are really, and divine masculine is very childlike in nature. If they want it bad enough, they will figure out how to get it. Okay? If they don't have it, they really want it. All right. Now, if they feel the essence of inspiration move through them, it fires up their testosterone. It fires up their leadership. It fires up their builder. It fires up their architect. It fires up their fixer, their tinker. It brings them to life. But in our culture of the third dimension, which hopefully you aren't going with if you're listening to me, is a culture of men become women and women become men because that's how we do ourselves in, right? Women I know lots and lots of alphas out there. I seem to attract alpha females, and I love it because I'm a recovering alpha female. Fine, I'll do it myself. I can do your job and my job, right? And I got a lot of value and I attained a lot of my worth that was false from being that strong. And secretly, I would fantasize, when's my Prince Charming coming? So I don't have to work so hard, right? And what I didn't realize is my Prince Charming is right up here. So when I work to recalibrate my own brain hemisphere together, I can fall madly in love with myself through my brain. See, that sounds less creepy, doesn't it? Like, I'm in love with myself. No, no, no. My masculine and feminine brain are in love with each other. And I turn them on by getting my masculine really pumped up about my desires. Okay? My only job is to get the belief systems away from the masculine energy inside of me that are taking away my ability to believe in me, to believe in my heart's desire, right? Your heart's desire has been what has been guilted and shamed. Your heart's desire is what's been stepped on, ridiculed, attacked, judged, manipulated, twisted, gaslighted, right? Breadcrumbed. I've got that video out there too. So when you realize that all you have ever needed is this, right? This. And your number one focus this year should be eliminating negative belief systems from your biological, cellular, muscle, memory, body. That should be the bulk of your work. Okay. This is why I am opening biohacking centers all over the world and apothecaries, because whatever will assist you, guide you, mirror you, mother you, father you into that is how we create sovereign beings that are self-generated energy. Look up the Nikola Tesla work. He modeled all his technology after the human body because it's universal life force energy chi. And yes, in every one of my apothecaries, we have scalar technology to bypass your belief systems and move you back into your chi, into alignment. We have biofeedback to help you align like a tuning fork, that frequency that you desire instead of the desire of the illness or the fear report or the whatever is happening now. All right. We also have our brain tap technology that will put your brain into meditation, whether you are sabotaging it or not, because we can override your radio station and we can help you move into a theta brainwave that will help you access your Akashic records instead of your childhood memories constantly so that you can remember yourself. Okay. That is this 3 tiny things that we offer in the apothecaries. Not only that, we use virtual reality technology to help you heal your own hormonal fight or flight, right? You're walking the plank, you're not walking the plank. You become conscious in the unconscious, right? So we also have our intense biohacking that we are literally squeezing belief systems out of your body through all means possible. Light, sound, art therapy, sound therapy, light therapy, heat therapy, ice therapy, lymph treatments, blood treatments, okay, nutritional spark treatments, cellular treatments, because I know I know that when you are desiring something and you can't hold that thought for 168 seconds, that it scares you. Because why do I want something I can't have all the time? Why is it that I constantly get stuck in these survival desires? Why am I wanting other people to hear and see me so badly? Right? Why is it that my body won't do what I need it to do? Why does it feel like I'm running out of time, yet I have too much time over here? Why, right? Well, these are good questions to ask yourself because quantum hypnosis is about asking yourself why I do what I do and then follow the thread. Why do I sabotage myself? Well, let me see how sabotaging myself is an attempt for my subconscious mind to keep me safe. Why is it sabotaging my relationships right when I find someone I like? Well, the last person you liked hurt you. It's protection. 90% of why your subconscious mind is basically cock blocking you right now is self-preservation. And it sucks because love wins. But we all know that right before you get to love, you have to walk through the deep, dark forest of grief. You've probably found yourself in a crap ton load of fertilizer called grief this year. Loss, and with the depopulation starting right now, that's all full effect. Okay. You've probably been to a lot of funerals recently, or you are looking at the body count going, what is happening? Okay. in an attempt to really narrow the playing fields here. So imagine, like, today's Super Bowl Sunday. This is a perfect analogy, right? So what happens in order for two teams to get to a Super Bowl? And I don't know crap about football, so please don't judge me, or go ahead. I'm just going to get the analogy going here. So in these two teams, what happens all season? It's a narrowing it down. It's a narrowing it down. It's a narrowing it down. And sometimes, someone makes it to the Super Bowl from mistake. Sometimes they make it because the other team made a mistake. It doesn't matter. It's a narrowing it down. So your world that you live in right now is being narrowed down to the best of the best, okay, on both sides. And it's like American Idol, right? We used to watch that and just cringe. They'd start out with, thousands and thousands of people, and they'd end up with 12 or 13. So this game is moving into a major league zone, right? If you are walking on the tightrope, you're heading into the major league. Okay. If you are just waking up going, wow, oh, shoot, what am I looking at? Why is that there? Okay. You might be working towards that major league, and you might be playing in the minors for a few years, and the baseline, basics, spiritual 101, your cause and effect and your law of attraction and your spirit guides. And that's perfect too, because that is still on our team. We can pull from those minors at any point when you quantum leap. Now, the other side is just as well equipped, and it is narrowing down as well. Okay. So it's going to get a lot less populated here so that your vision becomes more clear. Okay. You can literally go and buy skins now. You don't have to even be in the body you want to be on this planet. You can have your consciousness put into another body, just like your video games your kids are playing, and you can get into the skin that you want. Right? You could even get into a skin that looks like a celebrity because it's already happening. If you want to live in a world like that, and that's like cool, great. If you want to live in a world where you get to create your own reality and then step into a universe that is of your choice, well, you're probably not going to be so attracted to the skin idea right now, but it all exists. The dark has moved into its 9th dimensional power on this planet, and the light is moving into its 11th dimensional power. So, we have the upper hand. But like I said last time, and I'm not sure if it was a class, that when we're playing against teams, dark and light, right, on the other side is all love. But when we're playing in this team and you're working with an elite group of game creators and coders and video game makers, and you happen to be an avatar in one of those video games, right? Go watch that movie Free Guy, Ryan Reynolds, and watch how he wakes up because he falls in love with a girl. Remember, I said divine feminine, your job is to inspire the masculine. Masculine, you will become awakened by being inspired by the feminine. I asked one of my guys in my non-duality class, who is definitely a spiritual teacher, guru, master. I mean, he's amazing. And I said, what woke you up? What was it that truly woke you up? And he said, I was attracted to a girl and she was into tarot cards, so I got tarot cards. See how she was the inspiration, and he was inspired to spirit through her. Free Guy is a perfect analogy. Even it's got the bridge. It even has the 5D ending that we all live happily ever after. And that's a great analogy for you to see that. This is where we are right now. You're having to let go of the 3D version of love. You're having to let your egos get crushed, your pride get crushed because it's not happening the way you think. You might have to have a few death experiences where you literally have to go down to ground zero because your Lego house is building like this instead of building like this, and you've got to flatline everything. You've got to literally 0 point your life at times, because sometimes your belief systems are so against you that you literally don't even know what you're supposed to be doing. So your role right now is to work on your interior universe and learn about it, feel into it, talk to it, get to know it. You're going to work with your dark. You're going to work with your light. You're going to work with the heart. You're going to work with the head, and you're going to work with the gut. You're going to work with every element of you. The electrical, the magnetic, the non-physical, the subatomic. You're going to be working with all of these elements. And the more that you are integrating into the body, the more DNA that you have that is not junk at all, it is actually superhuman, will begin to turn on. Your superhuman DNA is going to turn on from your action. All right. It is not going to come on from your desire. It is going to come on from what you do, not what you want to do. Right. So it's thinking about this: integrate, wait for inspired action, show up. Okay. Eyes on my own paper. This is where, if you need vision boards, I would say masculine is sexually and emotionally attracted through sight. So look at your desires. That's your masculine getting inspired by the feminine, right? The feminine is all about how it feels. So step into the feeling. Step into the feeling and make sure you're paying attention to what it looks like, and then combine those two together using music as your soundtrack or some sort of frequency override, brain tap, right? Scalar energy, Healy technology, biofeedback, whatever, to basically sync you in and align you so that you can become one with your desire, and that will download the how. That will also download the when. It will draw towards you in your virtual reality in a simulation of opportunities, circumstances, events, new props, new people, new playgrounds, new ideas that literally yesterday you could not see. Your eyes can only see to the depths of your belief systems. You can only smell, taste, touch, feel, and react based on what is stored in your body, unless you are following your North Star. So this is when we get really disillusioned, delusional, and we start saying, you know what? I am going to look at only what I want to look at, and I'm going to practice, prepare, play. We call it the P's, okay? How do we truly create our own reality? The P's, right? Posture. What character do I choose to be in? I choose to be a sovereign being who makes up her own rules and lives her own life and sings to her own drum and blah, 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 blah. Happily ever after. Okay, good. Then I can't pay attention to anything that is not in alignment with that. I can't hang out with people that are not in alignment with that. I can't eat foods that are not in alignment with that. Otherwise, I am being counterintuitive to my own dream, right? And then I'm going to posture that. I am going to become that version of me. I am going to act as that character who already has and is living that abundant free life, model myself, my behavior, my dress, my tone, my speech, my character after her, because she knows what's up, muse through her, and then let her, through the posturing of my character, have an intentional direction. That intentional direction is going to be, now I need to practice that. I need to prepare and make space for that. And then I need to surrender and play. I also, in my surrender, I need to re-record over my subconscious. And this is why my two big classrooms this year are getting my first ever sleep hypnosis, which means that you have this amazing window of time in your brain, in your body, that you slip into theta, alpha, in order to download very quickly. This is how all this mess happened, right? What turns it on, turns it off. So if all this mess happened by downloading unconsciously all of this no, and I'm not allowed, and I'm not worth it, then it's your job to record over it. The universe won't use empty space. It will fill the space. So if you 0 point all your neural pathways and all your cellular memory is gone, if you do not establish a new version of you, the other part will download from the cloud. You've heard me say this a million times. So your job is to act intentionally, act inspired, act as if, act as practicing for it. You're like, well, I don't know how to do that. Practice. Okay. Well, I don't know where that's prepared for it. How would I be preparing if it already manifested, or if it was coming next month? Because if you start doing this right now, by next month, you're going to start to see the evidence of that, and you're going to start realizing that you're ready. See, if that happened tomorrow, you might not be ready, because you're not the person. The how is the masculine within you. So guys, if you're asking out there going, how, then your masculine brain is emasculated, and you need to clear that. If you have no vision for yourself, then it's your feminine that's wounded. If you feel that your vision is never going to happen, then both your masculine and feminine is wounded. If you're taking a lot of action and it's not working, you're not being seen and heard, your masculine is emasculated and your feminine is not safe. Ladies, if your focus is to provide, protect, fix, and build something, you are leading in your masculine. And that means instead of wearing your true your true force field of your own heart Taurus that keeps you safe, right? And navigates your intuition for you. You've probably lost that somewhere and you had to build a shield. The shield is made out of walls. It is forcing you to act in a masculine behavior. This masculine behavior is going to attract feminine energy to you. That means that you're going to be the giver and you're going to attract the takers. Okay. You're going to attract, because it's resistance, because you're leading in fear. I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I'm rushing to the future. I'm, making all these products. I'm creating all this content. I'm doing all of this. I'm working really hard. I'm showing up. You're leading your masculine, and you will never consistently be able to be successful, abundant, or free with that because it is out of alignment to your true nature. Your true nature was to attract, receive. Divine feminine, you're the receiver, right? Divine masculine, you're the giver. Okay. If that's out of balance in your relationship right now, you might want to take stock of that. Ladies, I told you, I do not have time to be teaching this divine feminine class, but it is the most important thing I am doing right now. Because if I can help very strong, kind-hearted, empathic, sensitive women move back into their magnetic, divine feminine power, where life gets a lot easier, even when the world is imploding over here, that world, you are only going to truly be safe in your feminine energy, which sounds like a contradiction because that's what's been literally gotten you in trouble your whole life, is that natural, wild feminine of you. So there is a process. And like I told my girls, it's 15 weeks because it is the most difficult. I feel literally like I've had a sex change. And I don't mean how I look, okay? I mean, the energy that I have led with since I was a little tiny girl was masculine because that's how I stayed alive. One step ahead of everyone. Do whatever needs to be done, show up for whoever needs to be, help whoever needs to be helped, provide for whatever needs to be provided for, raise my kids by myself, take care of men at times in my life, mother them, parent them, life coach them. And then, open a school and do the same thing for my enlightenment community, of course, until I realize I'm tired. I'm supposed to be like the sage now and like get to be the medicine woman and like be catered to and receive. And that seems like not even a pipe dream when you are leading like that. So that's going to soften you. It's going to be like, I don't want that. I'm okay with having a strong masculine energy as long as it's safe, as long as he's inspired by my dream and providing and protecting. Now, obviously, ladies, before we can go out and find that dude, we've got to align our own masculine brain to be in coherence with the feminine energy within us, which means we have to heal the feminine first, okay? And then through example, demonstration, and inspiration, she will then heal the masculine within. The masculine within will rebuild the force field. Your intuition will return from your gut. Your knowing will increase. You won't have to call your sister to see if this guy's okay. Should I date him? And you will literally know with your gamma consciousness that this is the right move, even if it doesn't appear right in this reality. Because right now, all you have is your choice. All you have is your decisions. And all you have is the level of awareness that you are currently at. So when you are moving forward, you want to make sure that you know why and where and like how you are moving forward, and make sure that it's not being based in your mind's desires, because your mind's desires is going to take you to this version of the split. If you're leading with mind, you're going back to 3D for thousands of years. If you're going to lead with the heart, which doesn't make sense and looks very irresponsible and delusional, then you're going towards the new world. This is why I said you cannot necessarily follow your body's highest excitement right now, because it's like it wants to go where it knows, where it's familiar. And so we really need to go in a direction that we've never been. And that's about you following your North Star. And you may say, I don't even know what I want. I don't even know. And the only reason that you don't know what you want right now is because you are leading with your mind about what you need. Okay. Need is ego. Want is inner child. I already have it. It's already there. It's already this is your higher self. So look at where you're focusing your desires. If they're need-based desires, they are not coming from spirit. They're coming from lack, the separate part of you. And if you choose to follow what you need, you will loop back around and repeat a cycle in your belief systems until it smacks you in your face. Okay? So, I wish I was making all this up, but the time is now. Like, we have That it's no longer dress rehearsal. We're all being asked to shine in our own way. And the only way I mean shine is be the example of your heart and demonstrate your heart's desires, embody your heart's desires, practice your heart's desires, play in your heart's desires, posture your heart's desires, focus on your heart's desires. Okay, this will show you where you're out of alignment. So, your second piece of homework, if you choose to find out where you're navigating properly, is to write down with a blue pen every single thing that you really, really want to manifest for the new world. Okay, like new home, new house, new body. Hopefully, it's not from the skins. It's hopefully just download spirit. You know, and really what it is you want, and get very specific, very specific. And this is part of the homework. If you can get very specific, color, date, amount, touch point, how does it smell, what does it look like, where is it, blah blah blah, from where your heart's desire is right now, and then do that with a blue pen. Okay, and then once you're done with your flow of consciousness where you can't write anymore, take a breath, take a step back, do a circle, do a twist, do a flip, come back around into a different universe, and reread every single touch point holding a red pen. And any contraction, any judgment, any drop in vibration, any fear of loss, any rejection moment, or feel of anyone being abandoned, when you read it out loud, you put a red check by it. This lets you know where in your heart's desires that you have trauma, belief systems, or negative energy stuck in that particular item. So let's say you want to manifest a gorgeous partner, right? I just want a gorgeous partner. And you're like, you feel so good writing that with your blue pen. Then you come back over your red pen, and when you speak it with your own voice, your beliefs are stored in your voice, in your sound. This is why sound is so much good power for recording over belief systems, your own voice. Okay. You speaking it out, well, let's say it contracts, or you go immediately, you have a thought that, oh, all really good looking people are players and he's going to cheat on you. Okay. You want to pay attention to where your counterintuitive thoughts are around your own desire. And then when you go back over and look at all your red check marks, those are the beliefs you want to find. So you go in and you find those particular belief systems and pull the thread. Do your biohacking, squeeze it out of your body, clean out your lymph. Don't go for the colon cleanse or the liver cleanse first. That's not fair for your liver and colon when there's bigger systems. Okay, you want to do big down to the little. Okay, because that will help support everything moving through. I've got an online biohacking program. I'm sure other teachers do too. The ones of us that are setting up in the new world, we are abdicating for people to come over quickly. And therefore we are creating these shortcuts, these cheat codes, these biohacking programs that will help facilitate your desires and actions, closing the gap in time, which means it's not going to take a long time. And even if you have no way in hell to manifest your own desires right now, your heaven is right here. It's telepathic. What you seek is seeking you. You will not attract it here. Right here, you're going to attract the opposite. You're going to attract another, sequence around the shit show. You're not going to be going into your North Star. Your North Star is your pure heart's desires, even if they don't make sense. Even if you don't have the sense to pay for them, okay? It does not matter, because you would not desire something in your heart that you were not here to embody, all right? If you have it in your heart, it already exists in your fourth dimensional place, which means all you have to do is find your frequency, okay? And you want to do that through whatever means possible. Take so much less physical action in your physical world and take all of the action in your non-physical world. And this will make your life a very 80-20 rule. 80% play, practice, prepare, posture, okay? And then 20% inspired action. And you will actually get and manifest like-minded people who are doing the same thing. And that's responsibility-based friendships and coaching, which means everybody's responsible for their own shit. And then everybody can live happily ever after instead of blaming each other. right? So it's kind of like this idea that if you were on the fifth floor of this building, but you are a 10th floor girl or you are a 10th floor guy, because you want the aerial views and you want the peace and quiet and you want the, the nature and the big trees and you want, the space and you want the abundance, then you have to stop focusing on that fifth floor. You have to be willing to leave what's on the fifth floor. You have to let go of the fifth floor. Stop trying to settle and make it work for you. Stop trying to date the same people that are on the fifth floor. If you want to live on the 10th floor, you're just getting attachments. Okay. So you're going to have to let go of that fifth floor living, right? And I like the analogy a little bit better of being on like a desert island. And imagine that the only way that you could get off this desert island is by frequency and vibration. So you have to, on the desert island, become the frequency and vibration of your rescue team. Okay, what is the vibration of the rescue team? Right? Well, when you're hiding and playing small and not speaking your truth and not living your joy, let's just say that the plane is flying over, but you're wearing camouflage because you're hiding. You've got walls around your heart. You've got shields. You've got defenses. You've got triggers. You have, rejection going on. You have loss playing out. You're going to be the same color as where you are. Okay. So if you want to be the vibration of the new world, okay, then you're going to have to look different from the planes flying over, which means you can't be in the camouflage of hiding, of closing your throat down. You cannot be, sacrificing your own time and body for everyone else, because your head will be turned here when the plane flies over. Okay. You've got to be expecting to be seen safely. So this is why, ladies, if you're leading in your masculine, I don't care how hard you're working, your company's not going to work. You're not going to make the money long term. You might make the quick cash. You might even get it all the way to the top. All right. But you're going to hit a glass ceiling and it's not going to feel good. It's not going to feel rewarding. It's not going to feel sustainable. You're not going to have the energy to keep going because you were never designed to be that provider, protector, fixer, builder. You were designed to be a desire and receiver and an inspiration. So if you inspired someone today, that's using your feminine energy to embody your Christed heart. If you are providing for someone today who could provide for themselves, you're leading in your masculine. All right. You want to look at, you have valued yourself. That is how we have stayed safe. But you cannot stay safe and be a vibrational match to freedom. It's like you can't. Like, you're either going to have to go, well, I guess I'm going to have to go back to 3D and do another 2,500 years of that, or go, you know what? I'm just going to grow through this. I'm going to feel all my icky feelings. I'm going to let them go. I'm going to turn them into magic. I'm going to turn this pain into potential. I'm going to heal my own sexuality, which a lot of guilt and shame is lodged in, ladies and men. Okay. Because if the driving force of your life, guys, is still, the best sex with your girlfriend, then she is not inspiring you spiritually, right? And if you are still looking for that one girl out there and she keeps slipping through or running away or, letting you down, then you want to look at your own abandonment of your own divine feminine energy within. Guys, if you're in my class, you're all healing your sexuality this year because your sacral chakra is also your creative center. You're going to be learning to use your sexuality differently. Yes, we're in sex magic. We're going to be doing all kinds of fun things. Ladies, you're going to get out of your comfort zone in my class in the Divine Feminine, but that is only so you can return to your true magnetic power. Like I said, your job is to be the essence and embodiment of your own desire. And through that purely, you will inspire the world to wake up. Everybody has genius inside of it, but when you're focused on survival, you cannot access that frontal lobe. You cannot access that pure genius part of your divine masculine that knows the how and the way. You will also, not be able to access your true intuition of what is right and wrong for you. And you will probably lead by excitement or need or lack, and that will bite you in the butt and return you back to the scene and take you back to the scene of some uncomfortable trauma for you to neutralize. So here you go. I said it, right? This is where we are, February. Like, love wins, but love is about connection. And first, foremost, to truly love thyself, it is about you being in unity of yourself. It is about the me, myself, and I all on the same page, the same grid, and working on neutralizing your belief systems to really up your value. The more belief systems you let go about yourself, the more valuable you feel, the better you take care of yourself. And the better you take care of yourself, the better the essence comes off of you to inspire and help other people. The more abundant you can become, the more people you can help. Okay? Being in lack and helping a bunch of people who are also in lack is a recipe for a disaster. Okay? Self-focus is not selfish. Self-focus is actually how you build the foundation of the new world. And the only way that you will be able to have anyone by your side is if you are embodying and practicing it physically. Okay? Yes, I have room in my biohacking studio for you. Come on down. We have an online program. We have virtual workshops. We have it all. I have been getting ready for this for 12 years. And I've been practicing, preparing, and playing even when there was people like, what are you doing? That's just absolutely crazy. I could not. I had to. So here we are. We're open for business, and we are helping people mirror and assist and guide and lead. We are not rescuing. Okay. We're not rejecting. We're not abandoning ourselves to do this. Okay. So hopefully you got a nugget today, because if you are observing, even if you live under a rock, you can feel what's going on here. Like, we are about to have a very big reset. First, the depopulation will occur, and then we will move into a big reset. And if you're not paying attention, you won't really notice. Okay? It's going to be one of those things where if you're paying attention to the new world and your new reality, whatever shows up from the collective shift will be in your favor. If you are not focused on your North Star and you're focused on your head, it will go against your favor and you'll have to feel like you have to work hard. So I'm asking you to surrender the hard work and go inside your lab, inside of yourself, and let go of the belief systems that are not serving you by any means possible. Hypnosis, meditation, rituals, sex magic, whatever you can get your hands on that is in the right alignment of your heart's desires. Be careful of false light here, okay? Whatever is in it will help you, assist you, because the universe is like, just meet me halfway. Just show up. Just act as if. Come on. You're almost there. Just kick through the door. Like, you guys are almost there. We're almost there. Love wins. But love is about connection, not attachment, which means that you're going to have to reevaluate your attachments. And depending on which level you're on, you might actually just get removed from your attachments because it's not serving you. So whatever you're losing right now, look at it as a blessing. Okay? Yes, do your grief work, grieve it, mourn it, feel it, let it go. You are on the right track. You're almost there. Okay? You're at the Super Bowl. We're all at the Super Bowl, and we're here, and we're the best of the best. We got to stay focused, eye on the prize. We can't get emotionally beaten down here. We can't get criticized into feeling not good enough to be on stage. We've got to show up, and you will, because this is your year. This is our 7 year. This is the spiritual embodiment year. This is the magnetism of spirituality becoming formed this year. And everybody will go through this in the way that they need to go through this. And ladies, if you have a man in your life, it is your job to bring him to source energy. Now, don't be his source energy, but inspire it within him. Men, your job is to provide, protect, fundamentally build the new world where source energy can embodiment and live. And that also means with your own spiritual visions of that, your own embodiment of that, your own divine feminine. And when you embody your own masculine and feminine, then you will meet like-minded people on your new playground, because you will quantum leap, you will timeline jump, because you attract what you are. If I am whole, I am going to attract people who are whole. If I am half, I am going to attract people who are half and then get mad at me that I'm half, and I'll get mad at you because you're half. Okay? And that's a world that I think we're all tired of living in. So the way that you get out is to get in, right? When you go without, go within. And really work on this belief systems, your feminine energy leading versus your masculine energy leading. Notice what you've manifested without judgment. Write down your very specific blue list with your red check marks to find where your belief systems are. Okay. And this is a great way for you to analyze without judging and accept fully where you are in the present moment so that you can make a course correction and you can start working on the underlying problem. The underlying problem is that you don't have enough money or time or health. Your underlying problem is those belief systems that someone basically downloaded into your body, and because they were there, you practiced, prepared, and played them out and became the actor, the script, and the movie of those particular belief systems, and they may not resonate. So if you're trying to move forward and you can't, it's because there's something that is vibrating a belief system in your subconscious. Okay, so get into theta, get into alpha, make sure you're getting into delta. Okay, that's when your housekeeping can happen, your resets can happen. This is when your body can come back online, when you're out of the way. All right, watch how much you're in beta. That's going to be your nervous system, your fight, flight, defense. If you're there all day, you need to find a coach. You need to find someone who can mirror for you and help you be accountable to your own vibration right now. It will be the best investment you will give yourself. Is if you're like, how do I get in here? Find someone who knows how to get in there, whether it's me or someone else. Really get in here. Be accountable, responsible to your own true North Star and focus all of your energy on it, regardless of what is happening outside of you. Okay, that is my message for February. Happy Valentine's Day, happy Super Bowl Day, happy 5D Day, whatever you want to call it. And I hope to see you on the other side.